Dick Wolfsey at Ingalls Motor Speedway. 4 times the fun, 1/4 the size. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Indianapolis is known for racing, but there's a league based here in central Indiana you may not have heard of.
24-hour News 8's Dick Wolfsey joins us live from the league's track to explain. Good morning.
That's right. We are actually just a mile outside of Fortville, called Ingalls, Indiana, and we are at something called the Ingalls Motor Speedway. And Todd Holloway, I'm going to be honest with you, I know this state pretty well, and I have been in Fortville 100 times. I never knew about this city and this track. Now, how old is the track?
Track's been here probably 6 years, a little over 6 years.
6 years.
You're right.
And you call you guys what?
The Indy quarter scale racers.
Okay, now is this all over the country?
It's all over the country. We've got people racing from Las Vegas to Michigan, all over the country. We just got back from a big race in Royal Oak, Michigan from last week, and we have a regular series where we can travel or stay local and run here at our track.
I don't want to get them started yet, but I'm have Dave take a shot down in the pits. Just tell us briefly a little bit. Tell us briefly about the cars.
They are a 23cc gas-powered, kind of like what you'd use in a weed whacker out in your yard. They're quarter scale, weigh approximately 30 pounds. Anything that you can do on a real race car, you can do on these.
Built by all these guys with these remote controls. You can see everybody waiting here, ready to get started. So let's do a little bit, a couple of laps here, and then we'll talk more about what they do. So why don't you start them off?
Hey, bring them on out, guys. Welcome to Ingalls Motor Speedway here in Ingalls, Indiana.
The precision of these things and how much they look like real NASCARs is really quite amazing.
It's amazing. Like I said, anything you can do on a real car, you can change shocks, springs, tires, stagger. We run a restrictor plate in this class, just like NASCAR does.
Now, are there any rules about, hitting each other? I mean, do you have some, or is it pretty much anything goes?
We have rules as far as people getting black flagged or sent to the tail if they're involved in a wreck, or if they cause wrecks, or if they cause more than 3. They'll be asked to go to the tail, just like real racing.
And if they're really bad, they'll be asked to leave the park.
Well, yeah, they'll be asked to leave the park, or sometimes everybody gets a little heated. It's just like the real thing. I mean,
now I've tried this before in other similar sports, like airplanes and stuff like that. This is not easy. You don't pick this up and get the hang of it right away, do you?
No, you don't. And what we've got a class for beginners. So if you're out there and you're thinking about getting into something like this, we have a beginners class, people with less than a year's experience. We start them out slow, we help them as much as we can, and then they start running with the rest of us.
Terrific. Just as a final question here, if you saw this today and wanted to get involved, had no equipment at all, what are we talking about to get involved? How much money?
If you're buying a brand new car, you're talking around $1,200 with your radio, everything race ready, brand new, about $2,000.
Okay. Once again, we are at Ingalls Motor Speedway, just outside of Fortville. We'll show you some different aspects of the racing. We'll let you look inside of a car and see the precision with which these guys work. And there's a guy resting there on the grass. And we got 3 more segments, guys, so stick around. This will be fun.
Thanks a lot, Dick.
Dick Wolfsey here. And what's the difference between this NASCAR and a real NASCAR? Well, it's 1/4 the size, but the tires are 4 times better. We'll be right back.
Good morning. Welcome back to Daybreak Sunday. A live look now from the city's west side. You can see traffic over there seems to be moving smoothly, but the dense, heavy, thick fog out right now. 72 degrees, 47 minutes after 7 o'clock. It's time now to check in with Dick Wolfsey.
That's right. No racing cars on those streets of the
all.
Speedway right now. He's live this morning with some race car drivers you've probably never seen before. Good morning.
Good morning. This actually is pretty cool. And Todd Holloway has just told me, which I didn't realize, this really, oh no, they can keep going. Oh, and they're stopping now because...
Got a car sitting sideways over here on the backstretch. Belt came off.
So someone's got to come out and take care of it.
Exactly.
That's fascinating. Okay, you were telling me, which I didn't know, this is actually the only track like this in Indiana.
Right, this is the only track in Indiana. The next closest one would be in Lansing, Michigan. We got tracks in Illinois, all over the country, but this is the only one in Indiana.
So you must attract folks from all over.
Kentucky, Monticello, Indiana, Yorktown, all around, and we got a big family of guys from here in Ingalls.
Now, we'll look at this a little more closely later, but what essentially is running this is almost like a weed killer motor, right?
Right, so basically a weed whacker motor run on racing gasoline, 114 octane with regular 2-cycle oil.
Now, do you have the power to call these guys in?
Yeah, I can get them to come in for you if they're paying attention.
Now we're going to make a pit stop now, I think, and he's going to show us a different kind of car. So here they come. Look at that. Whee! All right, now as they come in, Todd Holloway, tell me you have a slightly different kind of car here.
Yeah, this is a quarter scale also, but it's a sprint car. Basically same thing, but we run unrestricted. It's about 10 pounds lighter than what you'd see out there with the other cars. It's open wheel like you would see you know, a Ryan Newman or a Tony Stewart run on a Saturday night somewhere before they got in the Winston Cup.
This will go faster.
Yeah, it's a faster car, same size motor, but it's faster, it's lighter.
Okay, let's see you run this, and we'll kind of watch you and the remote at work here. Wow. Any sense of how fast?
Right here we're only running probably 40 mile an hour, but we get them on a big track, they might run upwards of 70 mile an hour.
And how many of these would you have on the track?
If we got 10 of them, we'll run 10 of them. This class here is just starting to kind of grow in this area. Tires are kind of cold. So
are you guys running for points toward anything?
Yeah, we've got points that we run. We have national points, and we also have local points. And basically the same point system as you'd see in Winston Cup.
And I bet you get a little better gas mileage than most of us we're getting here, right?
Exactly, but the only thing is the fuel that we use is about $10 a gallon, but...
Oh, what is it? Tell me.
It's VP racing fuel like you'd see at a drag strip, but you only use 8 ounces at a time, so for $50 you could race all year on that.
Terrific. I just want to make sure it's clear that if you're interested in this program, check my website on Monday. We'll post some websites where you can get more information, or if you have my email through the Wish TV website, you can email and I'll give you a phone number, okay? When we come back, some more interesting angles on this. That's a promise. We'll be back. See you in a minute.
All right, thanks a lot. It'd be nice to go all year on 50 bucks, Dick Wolfsey. Thanks a lot.
Dick Wolfsey here at Ingals. This is Bob Lauk calling the race. And we'll be right back to see the quarter scalers. Stay with us.
High of 86.
Well, Indianapolis is known for racing, but there's a league based here in central Indiana you may not have heard of.
24-hour News 8's Dick Wolfsey joins us live from the league's track to explain. Good morning.
Good morning, Ruth Ann and Daniel. We're listening to Bob Lauk now. Bob is running the race here. He's sort of the announcer, keeps the track clear. And if you're just joined us, we're in Ingalls, Indiana, which is just a mile or so north of Fortville. This is the only track like it in Indiana where these guys race quarter scalers. And we'll talk to some of the folks who were responsible for building this in just a moment. But first, I'm going to interrupt Bob, if he doesn't mind. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
How are you?
How often do you do these races, Bob?
We do these twice a month on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Our schedule's posted on our driver's
And you get
stand
guys
there.
from
all over.
All over.
Kentucky. I'm from northern Indiana. We have races for national race. We have a Sportsman 500 coming up. You'll get guys from all over for these races.
I just want to show people the technology here, because we're not just having fun. This is serious business.
This is the same
Briefly tell us what we've got here.
Okay, this is a RC Scoring Pro software. It's being run with A&B scoring equipment. We have transponders. This is a transponder on every car. It's bolted to the car, mounted so they can score, and I know whose it is.
Show that to Dave one more time. I'll put that right there. So now, what is that actually?
That's a transponder. It actually scores the car. There's a wire out there in the track. This is the wire that we use. It's just like NASCAR, IndyCar. Got a wreck and turn 3, guys. Wreck and turn 3 that we use to pick up the cars. It scores, tells the speed, the car's position.
All right, I'm going to interrupt you. So you have well, here he goes. Now you had a wreck and turn 3. So what happens?
Right now, because of CUSAC rules and somebody can get hurt, you got to have all the cars stopped so the turn marshal doesn't get run over. Once he is safe behind our barriers, okay, guys, you're clear to go. I give them a clear to go, and we're set. We have a buzzer here that alerts them when there's trouble on the track because they don't see the... Go right to it again. Right. Got cars in the grass, turn 2. Whoa, guys, turn marshal's on the track.
How did these guys get the dangerous job? The guys up there with the remote controls, they don't seem to have some...
You take turns when you're drivers.
Yeah, okay.
If you're not racing, you're turn marshaling to help out your fellow driver.
Fair enough. As Dave continues to watch that, I'm going to call Rick in here. You won't see him, but we'll just watch the cars. And Rick, I know you're pretty proud of this track. You were responsible in part for building it, right?
Yes, that is true. In fall of '02, we got run out of where we used to race. So we decided as a club we need to build a track of our own. Mike Johnson and myself took on that responsibility at the time. This was just a big field when we came out here. had some club members with a bulldozer came out. We started digging the ground up and ended up putting down asphalt and building a facility that we can call home now. And like you said, Mike Johnson, myself, Todd Holloway, Jim Phillips, there's a list of guys that really put a lot of effort in.
Well, we appreciate that. And by the way, you think you're on TV. You're actually on the radio because we never saw your face.
Okay.
So don't tell people you're on television. Tell me you're on the radio.
I'm on the radio.
We watch the cars instead.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Ruth Ann and Daniel and folks at home, we're going to come back. We have one more sort of vantage point on this. And again, if you're interested in this, check my website on Monday, or you can zip me an email through wishtv.com, and I'll be glad to give you information about how to get involved in this. Okay, back to you.
All right, thank you. Hi.
Dick Wolfsey live from Ingalls, Indiana. Really no raceway quite like it in Indiana, and we'll take you out on the track when we come back. Stay with us.
Time now to check in with 24-hour News 8's Dick Wolfsey. He's live this morning with some race cars and drivers you've probably never seen or met before. Good morning.
Yeah, well, you'll never actually see the drivers, although you'll see the people who have the remotes for the drivers. But if you've just joined us, this is Ingalls Motor Speedway, Ingalls, Indiana, which is really just a mile north or so of Fortville. And Dave is showing you what the cars look like on the track. They're 1/4 scale. And actually, we're going to go back and show you that shot in just a moment. But I'm sure people would be interested, real briefly, Jim Phillips. We've actually are showing the inside of the car, and conformity here is the issue. They have to conform to certain specifications.
Right. QSAC allows everybody to run the same motor, and in the sportsman class, you got to use a restrictor plate. Now, in the sprint cars, it's a larger motor, they go faster, you got to use a different restrictor plate. The cars themselves are pretty well built with bumpers around the outside of the car. They got a radio system that runs the servo system, the radio system that controls it. QSAC watches the tires. We run in certain tires in all four corners. They're policed. And then we got fuel that's even policed. We got to run specific fuel. Companies you can get these cars from are WCM, Cat 5, and there's several other companies out there. Initial cost in this cars are usually around $1,500 to $1,800, and you just add a radio system. The radios are computer-controlled radios because these cars weigh in around 30 pounds, and you want a good radio system to do that.
As you finish up, let's take a final shot of the track here, and I want to call in Todd one more time. And Todd, let's take a final look at the track out there, and I know you wanted to thank some folks because, again, this is unique in the state. Am I correct, or am I overstating this?
No, you're correct. We've got one track here in the state of Indiana, and it's Ingalls Motor Speedway. I just want to thank Ingals, the town of Ingals, the Parks Department, and the city for opening up their arms, letting us have a place out here to run. Because it's one of the nicest tracks in the country, and we really like it.
That one just went off the edge there. That's pretty cool.
If you want to try something different, come on out and check it out.
Now, I just want to make this clear. If you are interested in this, because I got to tell you, that's why we do this program. There'll be a lot of folks watching who will say, hey, I didn't even know this place existed. So what I'm suggesting is you can either email me and I'll give you a phone number, or you can wait till Monday and I'll try to put this up on my website at wishtv.com. But you are open to new members. I want to make that clear.
We are definitely open to new members.
Even beginners.
And beginners. And we've got a car ready for you to drive, Dick. So
yeah, okay.
Every time
I know you've asked me, and I already had the one car out there, and all it did was go around in circles. So there you go.
Well, you did fine.
Okay. Once again, Ruth Ann, and here comes another one. And Daniel, back to you guys. This was a beautiful morning for racing, wasn't it?
It sure is.
Yeah.
There's more coming up on Daybreak Sunday.
Ken has your last look at today's forecast when we come right back.